All right, we need to get this out. Um, do you want to know this? Is the question. Because a lot of people don't want to know this. But you need to know. It concerns you, it concerns your kids. If you're older, it concerns your grandkids, your great grandkids, your babies. The babies are getting this. It's in their baby food. You need to watch this. You need to share it. You need to spread it around and get this out. Immediately after you watch this. It's better to do it immediately. Flood this thing with these by sharing this because it puts so many on there they can't get rid of them all. So it'll help out. The stuff that they've gotten our food is killing everybody.
Welcome back to End Times Prophecy News for the 5 o'clock report. Very bad news here. Before it's news, it seems that the global elites, Monsanto, is trying to kill us faster than ever now. Monsanto is scrambling to bury this breaking story. Don't let it go unshared. March 22nd. Yes, it is a month old, but I am frankly shocked this information is not making front page news right now. Monsanto will do anything to bury this story, and as of right now, it's working. Not a single mainstream media outlet is covering this appalling new report that shows millions of people being poisoned by a chemical that does not belong in our food. This chemical is ending up in processed foods like Cheerios, Ritz crackers, Oreos, and being consumed by humans across the world. The health of millions of people is on the line now, and this news must go mainstream. That's why I'm calling on every single one of you who reads this post to share this breaking story. The only way this injustice will be corrected is if enough of us stand up and demand that something be done to stop the poisoning of our food supply. Share this shocking new report with everyone you know. A FDA-registered food safety laboratory tested iconic American food for residues of the weed killer glyphosate, aka Monsanto's Roundup, and found alarming amounts now. We already knew we had it in the food, but it's far worse. Just to give you an idea of how outrageous these amounts are, independent research shows that probable harm to human health begins at really low levels of exposure at only 0.1 parts per billion of glyphosate. Many foods were found to have over 1,000 times this amount, well above the regulators throughout the world who consider it safe. Cheerios, 1,125 parts per billion. Honey Nut Cheerios, 670, and so on, with Wheaties, 31, Trix, 9.9, Annie's Bunny Cookies, Cocoa, Vanilla, 55, Kellogg's Corn Flakes, 78, Kellogg's Raisin Bran, 82, and plenty of Kellogg's products, almost all of them. Organic Promise, 24.9, Kellogg's Special K, 74, Frosted Flakes, 72.8, Cheez-Its Original, 24, Cheez-Its Whole Grain has more, 36, soft baked cookies, just everywhere. Crackers, cereals. Look at this. Oreos, 140. Golden sandwich cookies, 215. Lay's kettle cooked original. Careful, it's not healthy at all. Original is 452. Doritos Cool Ranch, 181 for chips. Chips are very bad. Cookies, very, very bad. It is amazing. Here's why we all should be concerned about eating glyphosate. Independent research links glyphosate to cancer sources 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these are all separate links, and it has been deemed a probable human carcinogen by the World Health Organization team of international cancer experts. That's why cancer is on the high, is steadily rising, and experts say they don't know why. Why they are not taking a closer look at these facts. Research also indicates that glyphosate is an endocrine disruptor, which disrupts hormones and leads to reproductive problems, early onset puberty, obesity, diabetes, and some cancers. When it comes to endocrine disruptors, very small exposures are the most damaging, so the dose makes the poison mantra does not apply. Glyphosate is the broad spectrum antibiotic killing the good bacteria in your gut. Poor gut health is linked to inflammation and the whole host of diseases. As GMOs laced with glyphosate are commonly fed to farm animals, this could very well be contributing to antibiotic resisting or resistant bacteria. It binds with vital nutrients in the soil like iron, calcium, manganese, zinc, and prevents plants from taking them up. Glyphosate is thereby making food less nutritious. Why is this weed killer in these foods? Even non-GMO and organic food. This chemical has gone so mainstream that glyphosate has infiltrated every facet of our environment, our water, air, and soil. Many GMOs were invented to be resistant to glyphosate, and since GMOs have been introduced, the use of glyphosate has gone through the roof. It is now the world's most widely used herbicide. Glyphosate is not just used on GMOs. Conventional non-organic farmers use Roundup as a drying agent on crops such as oats and wheat. It can be simply washed off as it is taken up into the plant. It can't be simply washed off as it is taken up into the plant itself. As the active ingredient in popular Roundup herbicide, millions of people are using this stuff around their homes, and it's widely used at parks and other public places or spaces. So that is why it is not just GMO-filled junk food that is laced with glyphosate. It's contaminating organic and non-GMO foods, and it's even in our honey. The FDA quietly found it in almost every single sample of honey they tasted, from mass-produced to organic mountain honey. The media has been essentially silent, and barely anyone heard this news. Even if you don't personally eat the specific brands that were tested, I don't. How many people are eating Cheerios and Ritz crackers every day? A lot. How many of your friends and families have the cabinets filled with these foods? These people need to know this information. There are still thousands of other brands and whole foods that have not been tested for glyphosate residues, so we can't be sure so that our own organic, non-GMO, and unprocessed food is safe. Americans are effectively being forced to eat this poison until something is done to stop the rampant use of this chemical. Yes, I said poison. Monsanto doesn't want the public to know these findings for obvious reasons. They have regulatory agencies in their back pocket to make sure they can continue to make a hefty profit while poisoning the masses. While there are now several manufacturers of glyphosate herbicides, Monsanto completely dominates the market, and this is the best seller. They are raking in billions every year, and certainly don't want that to stop. They are clearly, without a doubt, using their prosperity to influence our government regulators. Why else would those entrusted to protect the public from harmful chemicals turn a blind eye to this? Our public agencies are allowing corporations to poison Americans for profit. In 2013, the EPA massively increased the industry standard of what is considered a safe level, too, of glyphosate on our food in order to make enormous amounts seem A-OK. Instead of properly regulating it, they effectively raise the safe level so that no one can blame the industry for poisoning us with unlawful amounts of chemicals. This is corruption at its finest. The EPA has a long and sordid history of doing whatever Monsanto wants. And you have to ask yourself why this continues to happen and how we can make it stop. The EPA continues to pander to Monsanto as they keep postponing and dragging their feet to evaluate glyphosate's link to cancer in humans. The industry is fighting tooth and nail to make sure that the EPA evaluation will be in their favor and is trying to control who will be on the panel. Why won't the EPA do their job to make sure that the world's most widely used herbicide isn't causing us all to get cancer? Don't you think this should be a top priority? It's time for the EPA to put the public health above the corrupt desires of corporations. When it comes to FDA, they are not protecting the American public from glyphosate either. After announcing in February that they would finally begin testing foods for glyphosate residues, they just decided to suspend their testing this week. Could it be that Monsanto doesn't like the results they started getting, especially since the FDA found glyphosate in foods that should especially safe, like baby food? Monsanto will do whatever it takes to keep that story out of the public eye. Doesn't the public deserve to know this information? It should be shouted from the rooftops. It is shameful that the American media has thus far failed to cover this breaking news, but we have the power to make this information go viral. If you really want to stop the corruption perpetuated by Monsanto and the large chemical companies, this is how we shut them down. Tweet, share, and email this information to major media outlets.
You hear that? Share it, tweet it, Facebook it if you can. Everything. We need to get this out. We need everybody to know. Flood them with this. Share it a bunch of times. You know, it needs to get out there. People need to know this. Your babies are being poisoned, and you too. Well, this is Nathan Ball with news and commentary. Like if you like the video, hit the like button. Leave a comment. I want to know what you think about how messed up this stuff is. Just give me a shout out.